Welcome to the new lecture of lecture series on network analysis and synthesis. So, in the last class we have discussed about the Fourier series. So, how the wave symmetry will affect on Fourier series, what are the coefficients we need to determine. So, today we will discuss about the Fourier transform. So, we will see why there is a need to study Fourier transform, how it is different from Fourier series. So, these are the contents that we are going to discuss today. First of all, we will see how Fourier transform can be derived from the Fourier series. Then we will see how the magnitude and phase can be represented in a Fourier transform, and then we will see what are the conditions for existence of Fourier transform. After that, we will study some of the basic signals like unit step, unit ramp and other basic signals which will be helpful in the circuit analysis. Then we will see some of the examples on Fourier transform, how we can determine the Fourier transform for any signal. So, first of all, Fourier series, we have studied Fourier series, and Fourier series is a representation of periodic functions. So, if we need to find out the frequency spectrum of a periodic signal, we can easily find out using Fourier series. But what about the non periodic functions? How we will find out the frequency spectrum for non periodic function or aperiodic function? For that, we need to study about the Fourier transform. So, like Fourier series is applicable only to periodic signals, whereas Fourier transform is applicable to periodic as well as non periodic functions. So, also Fourier transform can be obtained from Fourier series just by considering that time period which we say for the time period of the periodic signal in Fourier series tends to infinity. By considering that time period tends to infinity in Fourier series, we can find out Fourier transform. So, as t tends to infinity, it means time period will lead to infinity, because we are considering for non periodic functions omega will be very small, because we know that t equals to 2 pi by omega. So, omega can be changed to d omega, or n omega can be changed to omega as n tends to infinity. So, what we are doing, we will consider that x t be a non periodic function, because we are talking about the Fourier transform. So, we will see how for the non periodic function we can find out the Fourier transform. So, let x t be a non periodic function, then we are saying that x t of t be a periodic function with period t. We have assumed that x t of t will be a periodic function with period t, or we can say that x of t will be equals to limit t tends to infinity x t of t, by considering that non periodic function, that limit t tends to infinity for a periodic function. If in a periodic function, if I will say that time period tends to infinity, it will become non periodic. So, the Fourier series, we know about the exponential Fourier series. This is our exponential Fourier series for a function x t of t, where x t of t will be a periodic function, summation n equals to minus infinity to infinity C n e to the power j n omega t dt, where C n is our exponential Fourier series coefficient that we have studied 1 upon t minus t by 2 to t by 2 x t of t e to the power minus j n omega t dt. So, this was the formula for exponential Fourier series coefficient. Then t into C n will lead to the formula for integral minus t by 2 to t by 2 x t of t e to the power minus j n omega t dt. Now, we are considering that n omega will tends to infinity as t tends to infinity, because if time period will be very large or infinity, omega will be small. So, we can say that n omega will also tends to omega and omega equals to 2 pi by t will tends to 0. So, thus as t tends to infinity, t into C n can be written as limit t tends to infinity x t of t e to the power minus j omega t dt. So, here we have changed n omega to omega, we have put a limit t tends to infinity, then x t of t e to the power minus j omega t dt. Now, so as t tends to infinity, so x t of t, the Fourier series of a periodic signal. So, as t tends to infinity, omega equals to 2 pi by t becomes infinitely small and may be represented by d omega. So, the summation will becomes integration. So, it will be 1 upon 2 pi x of omega e to the power j omega t. So, this t into C n is going to be limit t tends to infinity, we have changed n omega to omega. Now, t into C n will be equal to minus infinity to infinity, limit t tends to infinity x t of t e to the power minus j omega t dt. And we know that x t of t is a periodic signal, and if we consider that limit t tends to infinity, it will change to x of t. So, x of t will be a non periodic, or you can say aperiodic signal. So, minus infinity to infinity x t e to the power minus j omega t dt, and that t into C n, because t tends to infinity will lead to a continuous spectrum, and it will be x of omega minus infinity to infinity x of t e to the power minus j omega t dt. So, this is the formula for Fourier transform. So, this is the formula for Fourier transform that we are going to use to evaluate the Fourier transform. So, we can say that x of t will have a Fourier transform of x of omega, where x of omega is a Fourier transform of x of t, which is nothing but the frequency domain. So, Fourier transform is a tool which is used to convert a signal from time domain to frequency domain. So, by applying Fourier transform, we can shift our domain from time domain to frequency domain, and we know there are various advantages of frequency domain analysis, like we can see what are the components of frequency we have in our signal and what are their magnitudes at different frequencies. So, x of omega is called the Fourier transform of the Fourier the Fourier integral of x of t. Now, because we need Fourier transform to move from time domain to frequency domain, for the same we need inverse Fourier transform to move frequency domain to time domain. So, that is done. We know that x t of t equals to C n e to the power j n omega t. C n will be equal to x of omega by t, that we have seen here, x of omega, that comes out to be equal to t into C n. So, x of omega by t e to the power j n omega t, x of omega t equals to 2 pi e to by omega e to the power j n omega t d omega. Then considering that limit t tends to infinity, x t of t, it will lead to the formula limit t tends to infinity 1 upon 2 pi summation x of omega g j n omega t into omega. So, as we know that as t tends to infinity, omega will be 2 pi by t, it will be very small and can be represented by d omega. So, we are now with x of t equals to 1 upon 2 pi minus infinity to infinity x of omega e to the power j omega t d omega. So, this is our inverse Fourier transform. So, with the help of inverse Fourier transform formula, we can move our domain from frequency domain to time domain again. So, now this is the formula for Fourier transform. We have now the formula for inverse Fourier transform. To move from x omega to x t, we need inverse Fourier transform, and from x t to x omega we need Fourier transform, and they are known as Fourier transform pair, can be denoted as in this manner. So, this is our definition of Fourier transform or evaluation of Fourier transform. So, now magnitude and phase representation of Fourier transform. X of omega is a complex valued function of omega. The x of omega term that will come after evaluation of any signal, it will have some real part x r of omega and it will have some imaginary part. So, x r omega is real part and it will have some imaginary part. So, if we need to find out the magnitude, so it will be real part square plus imaginary part square under root, and it will give you the amplitude spectrum, because we are trying to find out its amplitude. So, real part square plus imaginary part square will give us the amplitude spectrum, and angle of x of omega, which will be tan inverse imaginary part of omega divided by real part of omega, will give us the phase spectrum. So, this is how we find out the magnitude and phase spectrum of Fourier transform. Now, existence of Fourier transform. So, what is the existence of Fourier transform that we will see? As I have said that Fourier transform does not exist for all periodic function. So, we can calculate Fourier transform only for certain aperiodic function. So, for those function, the conditions for a function x t to have Fourier transform are called as Dirichlet's condition. So, the condition from which we can say that we can find out the Fourier transform or not, these conditions are known as Dirichlet condition. So, for a function x t to have Fourier transform, it must be absolutely integrable. So, for a function x t to have Fourier transform, it must be absolutely integrable in the range of minus infinity to infinity, or we can say that minus infinity to infinity magnitude of x t dt must be less than infinity. Only then we can find out Fourier transform, only then we can find out Fourier transform of that signal. If it will satisfy this condition, only then we can find out Fourier transform. Also, x of t must have finite number of discontinuities in every finite time interval. It must not have infinite number of discontinuities in a finite time interval, and it also has a finite number of maximum and minima in a finite time interval. Only then we can find out the Fourier transform of x t. So, as it is written, these are sufficient but not necessary conditions. So, it means अगर a signal x t ये condition satisfy नहीं करता, if it does not satisfy this condition, these three conditions, then also we can find out its Fourier transform. That is why it is known as sufficient but not necessary condition. For example, suppose this is our signal. So, this is a signal x of t. If I will try to find out, if I will check for the existence of its Fourier transform, then minus infinity to infinity magnitude of x t dt must be less than infinity, but for this case, for this x of t, it will lead to infinity. So, it will lead to infinity. So, according to these conditions we cannot find out its Fourier transform, but we can find out its Fourier transform. That is why these conditions are known as sufficient but not necessary conditions. That is why these conditions are known as sufficient but not necessary condition. So, it is written that like unit step function, this is our unit step function that we will see later on. Then sinusoidal function it also does not satisfy these three conditions, but still we can find out its Fourier transform. So, before trying to find out the Fourier transform of some signals, we will study some of the basic signals that will be helpful in finding out the Fourier transform. So, first signal is unit step signal, which is denoted by u of t. So, u of t graphically it can be represented as this. So, from graphically you can see that when t is less than 0, when t is less than 0 there is no value of u of t. At t equals to 0 there is a sudden rise from t equals to 0, from 0 to 1 there is a sudden rise in 0 time, and after that it is constant at t greater than 0. So, we can define u of t as equals to 1 for t 0 and 0 0. So, this is how we can define unit step signal. Next is unit ramp signal. So, graphically unit ramp signal can be represented by this, the slope is 1 and it is denoted by r of t. So, we can represent it r of t equals to t when t is greater than equal to 0 and 0 when t is less than 0. So, r of t can be written as t when t is greater than equal to 0 and it will be 0 when t is less than 0. We can see it graphically r of t, and it can also be written as r of t equals to t into u of t. It can also be written as t in r of t equals to t into u of t. So, the next signal is unit impulse signal. Graphically it can be represented in this way, where at 0 we have an impulse, at 0 we have an impulse, and at t less than 0 and t greater than 0 we do not have the value of our function. So, we can define it as del of t will be equal to 0 when t is not equal to 0 and del of t is not equal to 0 when t equals to 0. This is our unit impulse signal. As well, the area under the impulse del of t dt will be considered as 1. So, this is the definition of unit impulse signal, in which del of t will be equal to 0 when t is not equal to 0. Only at t equals to 0 it has non-zero value, but at t equals to 0 इसकी वैल्यू 1 नहीं है, ठीक है, at t equals to 0 इसकी वैल्यू 1 नहीं है, but it is not equal to 0 at t equals to 0. As well, the area under the impulse is 1. If I will integrate from minus infinity to infinity, del of t dt will come out to be 1. So, next is exponential signal. So, this one is exponentially decaying. So, it can be written as x of t equals to e to the power minus a t, because it is exponentially decaying. So, a must be greater than 0. Then this is an exponentially growing. So, we can written for this x of t equals to e to the power a t, where a must be greater than 0. So, these are the two exponential signals. Now, the next signal we have is gate signal, or it is also known as rectangular signal. So, it is defined as x of t, we can define it as x of t. The representation of gate signal is done like this, A, which will be the magnitude A, then there is a sign similar to pi t by capital T, where capital T denotes the width of rectangular signal, it denotes the width of rectangular signal, or it can be represented as A, which is again the amplitude A, RECT, that is rectangular, T by capital T, where T is again the width of rectangular signal, and it is defined as A when T is minus T by 2 to T by 2, and it is 0 otherwise. So, it can be seen graphically also that the signal will have a value A whenever the value of t will be in between minus t by 2 to t by 2, otherwise it will have a value of 0. So, this is our gate signal or rectangular signal. Then we have signum function. Signum function can be mathematically represented as, from graphically it can be seen when t is greater than 0, this is our 0, when t is greater than 0 it has a value of 1, when t is less than 0 it has a value of minus 1, it has a value of 1 when t is greater than 0 and minus 1 when t is less than 0. So, this is our signum function. Then the last signal we have is sampling signal. It can be represented mathematically as SA of t, that is sampling signal, and it will be equal to sine of t by t, sine t by t. This is its mathematical representation. So, these are the basic signals we have studied. We have studied about unit step, ramp, unit impulse, then we have studied about exponential signals, gate signal, and then we have signum function, then we have sampling signals. All these signals we are going to use in our evaluation of Fourier transform. So, these are the questions that can come in exam for find out the Fourier transform of x of t. We are given a signal e to the power minus a t u t where a is greater than 0, and we have to find out its Fourier transform. So, how this signal will look like? This is actually a multiplication of two signals, e to the power minus a t, we have seen e to the power minus a t, this is our e to the power minus a t, this is our signal 1, then it will be multiplied by u of t, this is our unit step signal, we have studied just अभी हमने पढ़ा है u of t. So, whenever we multiply these two signals we will get e to the power minus a t u t. So, e to the power minus a t u t will be this signal. So, it will be x of t which will be equal to e to the power minus a t into u of t. So, this is our x of t equals to e to the power minus a t u t, and graphically you can see that it has a value of e to the power minus a t when t is greater than or equal to 0. Whenever t is greater than or equal to 0 it has a value of e to the power minus a t, and for t less than 0 its value is 0. So, we can find out its Fourier transform as minus infinity to infinity. This is our formula, x of t e to the power minus j omega t dt. This is the formula that we have seen for the Fourier transform. So, because the signal x of t is defined for t greater than equal to 0. So, limit will be from 0 to infinity e to the power minus a t, which is our function x of t, and e to the power minus j omega t dt. So, x of omega can be written as e to the power minus a plus j omega t into dt. So, when we will integrate it, we will get e to the power minus of a plus j omega t divided by minus of a plus j omega, where the limit is 0 to infinity. So, when we will evaluate it, e to the power minus infinity, it will be 0, then e to the power 0, it will be 1. So, we will come up with 1 upon a plus j omega, and again if I will find out its magnitude, it will be equal to 1 upon under root real part ka square plus imaginary part ka square, 1 upon under root a square plus omega square, and angle of x of omega will be minus tan inverse omega by a, that is tan inverse imaginary part by real part, because but the complex value is in the denominator. So, we are come up with negative sign, and if I will plot this, we will get it as magnitude of x of omega, in which it will have at 0 it will have a value of 1 by a, and at less than 0 it will decay, and at greater than 0 it will decay, and this will be the phase spectrum. On varying omega, we will get its phase spectrum somewhat like this. So, this will be our exponential function. Now, next we need to find out e to the power a t into u of minus t. Again e to the power a t we have studied, e to the power a t, that will be our signal, e to the power a t, it will be multiplied with u of minus t. U of minus t means unit step function will be reversed, that will be u of minus t, and we will get it as e to the power a t into u of minus t. So, we can define it as x of omega x t, this is our Fourier transform, because we have signal from minus infinity, this is minus infinity to 0, we have signal defined from minus infinity to 0, e to the power a t x of t e to the power minus j omega t dt. So, we will get it as minus infinity to 0 e to the power a minus j omega t dt. On integration, we will get this value e to the power a of minus j omega t divided by a minus j omega from minus infinity to 0. On evaluating it, we will get it as 1 upon a minus j omega. On finding out the magnitude spectrum, magnitude spectrum will be same, it will be 1 upon a at omega equals to 0, and phase spectrum will be reversed, because we do not have any negative sign, we are with positive sign here. So, this will be its magnitude spectrum, this will be its phase spectrum. So, this is the referred book, you can use for a reference. Thank you so much.